Russia has launched its first moon mission in almost 50 years. The Luna 25 mission will study the lunar surface and search for resources such as water. Russia is aiming to be the first country to successfully land at the moon's south pole. It's competing for that distinction with India, which launched its own lunar mission last month. Let's get more on this now from DW Science reporter Zulfikar Bani. Zulfikar, Russia has launched its first moon landing spacecraft in almost 50 years. What will determine the success of this mission?
Well, precisely that, whether it can land on the moon. First of all, anywhere. It's aiming for the southern pole of the moon, which is a notoriously difficult place. No country on Earth has ever soft landed there, which means not hard, which means not crash. If you look at the map of the moon, also the history of then Soviet missions to the moon and American and other missions, well, American missions, they've all landed more northerly. So, but this is they're really aiming for the Bogolovsky crater, which is very southerly, where these apparent water deposits are known to be. So essentially, first of all, they have to get there. It's going to take a couple of days, 3 to 4 days. Then they have to land. Then they have to conduct their experiments and then ship those experiments back. So that's really what's going to determine the success. And so we won't really know until about a year's time. But just if I've got the time to say this, look, you know, just landing, even whether they're crashing or doing a soft landing. Remember the Rosetta mission that the Europeans launched to a comet. Even that, they had a perfect landing site, and but it bounced. It hit a crag and it bounced. Yuri Borisov of the Roscosmos, the Russian space agency, has said that is really their primary focus now, is to find a safe landing spot.
Well, Russia won't be alone up there. India recently sent its own spacecraft on a similar mission to the moon. Is there an element of competition here?
Oh, most definitely there's an element of competition. I mean, this has been ramping up, not least since America essentially designated space a new domain of war. So we are in a huge rush, not only for dominance in terms of political dominance, but also in terms of resources. As we've been hearing, when they say they want to inspect the ground for water and soil, they're looking for resources. It should be said, however, that the moon is about 100 times drier than the Saharan desert. So even if we do find real water, icy or otherwise, we're never going to be bottling it in masses, I would like to propose right now. But it's about dominance. And it's incredibly telling that this mission, Luna 25, well, the first since the Soviet missions of 76, I think it was, the last Soviet mission was Luna 24. So quite clearly, there is a competition on a number of fronts here. The Russians are saying, essentially, the Cold War never ended. We are going back, and we are going to be the first. They want to be the first to land on the southern hemisphere, at the southern pole of the moon. So definitely competition. Israel's been trying it, Japan's been trying it, and they failed. It's the Americans as well. It's huge competition.
Zulfikar, thank you very much. That was DW Science correspondent Zulfikar Bani.